In this presentation, we will be outlining the past, present, and future performance of Delta Signal Corporation. To give further information, Matt will be talking about the drivers of industry, Anna will be doing an in-depth business analysis, and Nicole will be going through the balance scorecard. Delta Signal Corporation is an automotive electronic manufacturer and supplier based in Ohio that started operating in 1992. It focused on innovation, quality, and cost competitiveness. In 2012, the company found itself in financial trouble, which in turn shareholders and the board decided to appoint a new management team to implement a new strategy for the organization. This report provides findings from the external and internal analysis by using the business systems model, as well as a balanced scorecard analysis. The key issues will also be highlighted and recommendations will be made to improve Delta Signal Corp. The summary of the Delta Signal Corporation case study starts with its founder, Louis Weber, who began the automotive electrical supply company in 1992, Ohio. Weber's strategy was being all things to all customers, which meant that the organization focused on providing supplies that met the needs of the entire customer base. The current CEO, Brian Nelson, of Delta Signal Corp, finds this strategy as a flawed way of thinking, as having a controlled number of products is strongly advised. Delta has a broad range of products that cater to the needs of customers. It has 100 different production lines in order to support approximately 2,000 products. Due to the large number of products, revenue has been slipping. The organization's performance in 2012 was poor, which was a result of the internal issues such as unclear goals and unfocused and unclear value proposition for customers. The external changes that have affected DSC's performance have been the increase of material and production costs, economic downturn, new entrants in the market, and large competitors gaining market share. Delta has since cut back on manufacturing costs by closing plants in the USA and UK, reducing the R&D budget, and cutting administrative costs. The substandard results of Delta have led to a lack of clear set goals. Brian Nelson has stated that a new strategy must be implemented that is backed up by a strategy map and balanced scorecard, which will help direct strategy implementation. Objective initiatives, metrics, and targets are yet to be made. The board has allowed up to $25 million of spending per period to support the new strategy. To continue, Anna will be discussing the business systems model.
Thank you, Harvey. I will now talk about the business system model. It covers the performance of Delta Signal Corporation by analyzing their internal and external operations and use them to help their decision-making process. Being in a competitive industry, Delta must quickly adapt to constant changing environment in order to expand operation and maximize use of their available resources. Their plan in fitting in numbers of market and segments all over the world has led the company into recession, as their rapid expansion has not created a sustainable management of finance and human resources. By not maximizing use of available resources, Delta has allowed rival companies to fill up the gap of the market when issues of defective products and inconsistent quality resulted in lower customer retention. The lack of focus for direct strategy is the main issue that affects Delta internal operation. Constant changes in the industry drivers such as political, economic, social, cultural, and legal left management team, employees, and customer values differ and not align, eventually affect the operation. New vision they established is to shift their market to a luxury segment where competitors has not aimed to direct their companies toward. This strategy gap is the potential regain for Delta's future success. To counter the new vision, where they have targeted in establishing relational resource by forming closer relationship with luxury manufacturer. This has positively contributed to the long-term finance management and change in customer perspective of the company, being a higher end choice among other companies. Delta's tradition is highly trained expert in research and development department, where their leading existing innovation allow them to maximize productivity with their OEM in luxury segment. Their strong research and development department have acquired years of knowledge in the industry. This is an irreplaceable intangible resource for Delta to outrun their competitors in the long term. Compared to before, where Delta has 100 production lines in-house, yet produce up to 35% defect rate of product. This causes high impact of their financial state and lose customer retention as they reach for rival companies for higher durability quality product. Human resource is one of the core drive that helps run the operation of Delta smoothly all these years. Therefore, by reallocating a more dynamic and competent employees through hiring process and strict examination, it can benefit the internal operation of Delta. Just-in-time and lean employees training are considered to be an investment for Delta, as this can align the internal and external operation to help improve their public reputation and regain their success. Now I will pass on to Matt to talk about the drivers of industry development.
Thank you, Anna.
When assessing the drivers of industry, the aim is to calculate how a business is affected by the internal and external environments. These rely on the integration of the political, regulatory drivers, economic drivers, socio-economic drivers, and technological drivers, and also Porter's five forces, which include rivals, substitutes and complementers, suppliers, buyers, and threat of new entrants. Delta's main issues revolve around the socio-economic drivers linked with technological advancements, political regulatory drivers, and threat of new rivals to the industry or market. Firstly, the socio-economic drivers due to the heightened awareness of climate change and the rising cost of gasoline. Customers are spending less on luxury items. Consequently, the economy segment is booming with a focus on innovating technologies. These technologies seek to create vehicles that are more fuel efficient and have a less of an impact on the environment. And these are both becoming major driving forces within the industry. Second, China's regulatory legislation has been altered so that any companies that plan to sell or manufacture their products in their country have to share proprietary technologies with the Chinese government. Also, some governments have raised taxes on international companies in the automotive sector to minimize the number of competitors within their resident companies. Additionally, with new laws being enforced due to Brexit, 74% of all manufacturers believe that the industry will be negatively impacted by these new laws. Lastly, as the automotive market has matured, companies are now focusing on their market share instead of establishing their brand through their pricing, quality, safety, and technologies instead of quantity or saturation within the market. Delta have mentioned that they have sufficiently maintained acceptable levels of quality, product performance, and cost competitiveness. However, they don't lead the market in anything. Delta has three main competitors, being Volvorum AG, Ottawa Systems Corp, and Sagamore Corp, that are all larger and producing higher revenues, possibly due to Delta's current initiatives and lack of focus on quality. In fact, the company has stopped investing in their Kaizen initiatives that reduce defects during the manufacturing process. If Delta aims to gain the competitive advantage, they must address these issues, find solutions, and incorporate them into their strategies and initiatives. I will now pass you over to Nicole, who will talk about our balanced scorecard.
Thank you, Matt. The strategies used when running Delta Signal Corp is targeted towards the economy segment, focusing on low lifetime costs for customers. The mission statement of the company is providing better customer support for customer longevity. Four main perspectives are focused on: the financial, customer, internal process, and learning and growth perspectives, seen in the analysis of the balanced scorecard. The connection between the metrics and initiatives of all sectors can be seen in the balanced scorecard map. From a financial perspective, the three main metrics that are focused on were assets turnover, sales, and cumulative earning per share. Over the 4 years, the improvements in the performance of Delta is seen in all sectors. The progress in performance is seen especially on the cumulative earning per share metric, starting from 98 cents and increasing to a staggering $7.71 in period 8. The statistic shows the company recovering with evidence to show shareholders that Delta is performing well and is worth investing in. Customer perspectives metrics focus on three main areas, which are making sure price protection is available for customers, the recommendation of Delta to customers is increasing, and that Delta is ranked as a company that is a low-cost supplier. All metrics have increased with the implementation of the initiatives but customers recommending Delta has not made much progress. Starting from 30% and increasing to 40%, it has not hit the target of 50%, which shows that there's a need for improvement to increase customer satisfaction count for Delta. In the internal process perspective, the metrics were targeting to cost and ways to reduce them. This includes having target cost plans and working with low-cost suppliers while keeping the high quality of the materials. This has been successful as the improvements can be seen at the end of period 8 for all of the metrics. Learning and growth perspective metrics focused on implementing the activity-based costing system, which helps Delta allocate the budget into the right components of the company. Another metrics was educating staff and providing training in just-in-time and lean, which would help increase the capacity of the company. Delta has invested in some initiatives seen in the internal process and learning and growth perspectives that did not match the metrics that the company chose. This resulted in decrease of productivity of the company, which could have been fixed if funds were allocated to the right initiatives. I will now pass you on back to Matt to talk about the recommendations for the next 3 years for Delta.
Thank you, Nicole. Due to the analysis within this presentation, it is recommended that Delta reassess their current strategies and initiatives and implement changes that will gain the company a higher market share. When evaluating Delta in regard to a business system, it has many positive attributes, especially in regard to their customizations and also their research and development departments. However, it is recommended that Delta shift focus to developing a clear set of goals and direction for the company. They are not utilizing their human resources department, and due to this, abrupt layoffs have been made. This behavior negatively impacts employees' efficiency and morale, but especially affects management. Consequently, due to mismanagement, the company has witnessed a rapid decline in sales and loss of customers to their rivals due to defect issues caused by their inability to effectively allocate resources. The analysis of the drivers of industry development showed that Delta is significantly behind its competitors, and without improvements, the company will continue to plateau and decline further. It is recommended that the company place its focus on quality by re-implementing their Kaizen initiatives to decrease defects. It is recommended that over the next 3 years that the company place its focus on quality by re-implementing their Kaizen initiatives to decrease defects. Also, Delta should utilize its innovative technologies to decrease their impact on the environment. With climate change, sustainability, and the price of gasoline being major driving forces, Delta must invest in these initiatives in order to gain a competitive advantage, especially since 2 out of 3 of their main competitors have a heavy focus and invest high amounts of revenue on electric and hybrid cars. Delta's balanced scorecard strategy was to approach the economy segment with the main goal of providing better customer support for customer longevity. Although Delta has done well in regard to their asset turnover, sales, and cumulative earnings per share, it is recommended that Delta still make some adjustments. First, they should no longer invest in employee training, multi-co team management, low-cost sourcing, as they cost the company $3 million and have shown no benefit. Instead, Delta should invest in outsourcing programs, assembly line equipment upgrades, plant reduce, reuse, recycle programs, and the just-in-time process engineers hiring initiatives. These initiatives will increase effectiveness by saving costs on sourcing materials and only hiring engineers when needed, increase efficiency by upgrading their assembly lines, and decrease the company's impact on the environment with their reduce, reuse, recycle programs. Thank you for listening to our presentation. We hope you take into consideration the positive results that we have made over the last 8 periods, and hope that these new initiatives can be implemented to gain a higher competitive advantage over the next 3 years.